तो मन पे मत लो, हम लोग परेशान थे, बहुत परेशान थे।
Hare Krishna. So we would like to thank the Goloka Prayers for their fantastic drama performance. Very humorous, hilarious, with very pertinent points though. We'd like to thank them all, Yugatar Prabhu and his entire team, by loudly chanting Haribo! Haribo! Yet another enthralling performance again. So thank you very much, Yugatar Prabhu, for leading that. So now we will have our second panel discussion. And in the second panel discussion, seeing me emceeing, you know who the moderator will be. So for the second panel discussion, we'll have His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu, who will now be the moderator. I would like to now invite Radha Gopinath Prabhu to the Vyasasan for moderating the panel discussion.
Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Few years ago, one top corporate lady, she had come to our temple, and she happened to meet the guest reception in charge, His Grace Sankirtan Prabhu. And she was so impressed. She said, if it was possible for me, I would hold him as the CEO of our corporate. And he's our guest reception in charge. I didn't know our operator was such a wonderful Shiksha Guru for so many. Sometimes situation forces you to become like that. Well, I'm doing this moderation for the first time. I'm quite moderate at that. Not very good, but I'll try to do that. And since we have a little running short of time, we will try to quickly do that. Basically, before I begin, I would like to invite our panelists. Even here, we decided to have 3 categories. One, a little more senior couple, another one, mid, and then we decided to have one brahmachari for a change, because we had one third generation boy, Baldev, was here. So the first couple I would like to invite is His Grace Murlidhar Prabhu and Radharani Mataji. Murlidhar Prabhu is a dental and a transcendental surgeon both. I remember he came in 91. He came in 91. And he got a very good companion from here. And they were married in 92, as you were told. So they were married here. And he was also the initiator of an excellent congregation program last practically 18-20 years, which has churned out amazing devotees from so many places. They have spread all over. I have been to Bahrain, And I interacted with one couple and they said we were actually nourished and we got inspired through program at the Sion, with Muralidhar Prabhu and Nitya Krishna Prabhu and others. I went to Delhi, I met a couple and they also said, we were from Sion. Prabhuji, you don't know? I said, no, I used to give lecture, that's all. But personally, he's been cultivating, practically whole congregation had come up there and that's still going on now. And Radharani Mataji, she, yeah. Hari Bol Mataji. Can you just make way for her? Radharani Mataji is also an amazing personality. My first interaction with her was she came with a jeans and a t-shirt, I think. And she told me, I want to give something for your Gurukul children. And I said, all right. And she brought a huge house set, with a little, what do you call that? Cooking set and all that. And I was thinking, this is only boys' orphanage. But then she was so enthusiastic, she brought it. Then the parents came. And very soon the marriage was fixed up. And we are so happy. Now they have 3 wonderful, loving children. All of them teenagers and going strong. Radhika, Gandharvika and Rasika. So I'd like to call Mataji kindly. Both have been regularly counseling and many of them who have been trained under them are now becoming mentors and counselors. Very, very loving. He is also helping me in coming to Kolhapur and guiding devotees there. Thank you very much, Prabhu. The next couple who is, I was thinking, in between was, you already saw them. You saw him. His Grace Prahlad Priya Prabhu and Prahlad Priya Prabhu is here. Can you please come over, Prabhu? And Brajasundari Mataji. Prahlad Priya Prabhu is in the corporate world, IT industry, and he is one of the, as the operator said, very good speaker. He is one of my favorites. The way he presents his Bhagavatam, wonderful, guiding and counseling so many devotees. And Brajasundari Mataji, they have a wonderful daughter, Shriji, little Shriji, and she's helping with the VAC, Vedic Arts and Crafts at Gopal's Garden School. And Prabhuji is an amazing dramatist. Both he and his brother-in-law, you saw them, in action, multifaceted personality, and very speaks from his heart. A lot of thoughtful points that he presents. I was very much inspired by his presentation. And the 5th on the panel is we decided to have one category, and that is a brahmachari, which we didn't have so far. And that is a devotee from Udupi Brahmana family. And is turning into writing and doing amazing writing work. A very sweet devotee, loved by everyone for his sweet, smooth flowing classes. His Grace Braj Bihari Prabhu. He was actually preaching to youth, and he was a college preacher basically in Borivali, doing a lot of youth preaching. And when many of the youth started getting married, the wife started complaining, why only you go to him and why not us? So he was in a dilemma. From there he became a congregation preacher by default. And then he is preaching there and also able to connect and relate to everyone. And very speaks from his heart. So thank you very much for being here. I was thinking what could be the topic that could be discussed in this panel, which is also relevant to all of us. Because we keep hearing again and again that ultimately we have to take shelter of their lordships, Shri Radha Gopinath ji. The beautiful story. Once Prabhupada was walking in a morning walk along with Brahmananda Prabhu and many others. And then suddenly Brahmananda Prabhu was a huge, like 6-footer and tall and heftily built. And Prabhupada saw a small little crab on the seashore moving towards the sea, about to enter the sea. And Prabhupada looked at Brahmananda Prabhu and said, "Catch it." And Brahmananda Prabhu was Gurumukha Padma Vakya. He was a surrendered soul, huge person, and running behind that little crab. And he went with full force. It was a little distance away. And the crab immediately started moving quickly into the sea. But he ran into the sea. The wave came and he ran, but he ran inside. And after about few seconds, he came back, head hung down in very shame. I couldn't get it. He tried, but he didn't get it. And Prabhupada started laughing. And he said, "You see, you are so big and huge, but you couldn't catch this little crab. That's because it has taken shelter of the vast ocean." And he looked at him and said, "Maya is like this, and we are like the little crab. But because we have taken shelter of the ocean of Krishna, Praptasya Kalyana Guna Arnava, therefore Maya cannot touch." One time His Grace Shikshastakam Prabhu was giving a class. Somebody asked him a question, "Prabhuji, who is a serious devotee?" He quoted one verse, Bhagavad Gita 7.14. "Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti." He said this material world is extremely difficult to cross over. So he said, take Maya seriously. And then the second part, Mam evaye prapadyante, he said, take Krishna also seriously. So serious devotee is one who takes Maya seriously. But if you only take Maya seriously, you will go into depression. You can never fight with her. But if you take only Krishna seriously, you become Sahajiya. Not understanding that Maya can come in the name of devotion, like we were seeing today, Bhavuk devotee and what the other ones were, Raga Rageshwar. Subtly, in Krishna consciousness also we can actually get influenced by Mike thoughts. And therefore take Krishna seriously and simultaneously take Maya seriously. Therefore, I was just thinking, two questions I put forward to the panelists here. And that is, what does it mean for you personally in your life to take shelter of their lordships? We keep hearing, we have to take shelter of their lordship, we have to take shelter of Radha Gopinath. What does it really mean for you to take shelter of Radha Gopinath? And also, what is your suggestion to the whole community here as to what can they do to increase their feeling of shelter to Radha Gopinath? So two things. What does it mean for you to take shelter of Radha Gopinath? And what's your suggestion, what's your recommendation to the community here, what they can do to actually increase their shelter of Radha Gopinath? We'll begin like Mahajano Yena Gatasa Panta. We'll start from there. Muralidhar Prabhu.
In my personal opinion, I feel that taking shelter of Shri Radha Gopinath means taking shelter of his devotee. Tumhara Krishna dite paro, tumhara shakti aache, ami to kangala Krishna Krishna bole dhai tava pache pache. My first encounter was with the devotees, not with the deities. Wonderful Vaishnava, Adikesha Prabhu, he was my Pat Pradakshak Guru. And he gave me so much of love and care. Like whatever I expressed, he always fulfilled those desires. Like once I told him I would like to go to a temple, he says, come, I would also come with you. And that's how our weekly visit to the temple started. I would go to his house at Dadar, and then he and his good wife, of course, Dayal Chandrapur was another person. He would pick me up from Sion, and then we would go to Dadar, and then from Dadar in his car, we would come to temple. We attend a full Mangal Aarti, attend the Srimad Bhagavatam class, and after we came back home to Dadar, then Premlila Mataji would make nice prasad for me. And this happened for many months. And so much of love and care they gave me, I really felt sheltered. I actually felt sheltered at that time. And that is keeping on going on for last so many years. This is in 1991, almost 26 years I am surviving because of the love and care of the devotees, an example. Also, I also wondered how devotees can be revolutionary also when they have to preach, to give the shelter. I remember Vishwaru Prabhu and his good wife, they once told me when I was new, he said, we want to come to your house. I said, fine, come. So the normal tendency would be like, you serve the guests when you come home. But when they came with all the vegetables, the kacha kela. He was very famous. They straight away entered the kitchen and started cooking.
In your house?
In my house. And for almost few hours, 2-3 hours, they cooked, and they prepared a wonderful feast for all of us. So they came as guests, but then cooked for the hosts. That was a love that they exuded, and just to make me feel comfortable and make me feel sheltered. Also, another thing that we can say that, at least from my personal opinion, my life, feeling sheltered is also like, from the devotees receiving services. Devotees are the ones who give you service. And my initial interaction, Radha Krishna Prabhu and Palika Mataji gave me services. Like Radha Krishna Prabhu gave me the first service of coming out with that weekly newsletter, Flash. Also, he gave me the service of editing or helping me with the Vaishnav songbook, which was the first songbook which came out from Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir, the orange book with, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also he was the one who passed on the baton of performing Yajna. He was the one who performed my marriage in the temple. But after a few marriages, he just, now you take over this. And this I've been continuing on at this moment. So in short, also another thing about taking shelter means receiving the instructions. Receiving instructions from the spiritual master, through other senior Vaishnavas. All those also you feel sheltered. So in short, I can say love and care, attention, instructions, services from Vaishnavas. When you take the series like taking shelter of Shri Radha Gopinath. And my service and my message, or maybe my request to the congregation at this moment is that let us all be very grateful to whatever we received in terms of facilities. Let us be grateful for the services that we get, whatever services we get, directly, indirectly, be grateful. Let us be grateful for all the devotees who have helped us, in the beginning years of Krishna consciousness, also those who are nourishing now and forever. And let us just share that love and care to all those who need. That is my message. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. I didn't know that the person who inspired you first was Adhikeshwar Prabhu. He's a skin specialist, by the way. He made a dental and made him transcendental. He was a skin specialist. He removed the skin disease, what Prabhupada calls. You're not the body, you're the soul. And he told me, Adhikeshwar Prabhu told me, he was scared of Vishwarup Prabhu. Because he was the one who caught him, and he said, I'm going to come to your house. That looks like it was his strategy. He would come to his house, and the first time he went into Adhikeshwar Prabhu's house, he said, you have to have altar here. And he didn't know what altar was. Saying, we'll set up the altar here. And he was wondering, what is this altar like? And next time he actually brought the altar and placed it there. And he told him how to. Actually, Adi Keshav Prabhu told me he was scared of Vishwarupa. As soon as he see him coming one direction, he would take the other gully, patli gully to escape. That is the way he was, lovingly aggressive in terms of trying to share what he had received. Of course, that time mercy would come in very different ways. So, thank you very much, Prabhu. In terms of taking shelter of devotees, taking shelter of the services and the instructions. Yes, Mataji?
Hari Bol. When I came to the temple for the first time, it was for attending the Bhagavad Gita course. And when I entered the temple hall, I still remember I felt as if I have come to Vaikuntha. It was so beautiful. Srila Prabhupada's soft music playing and the fountain, the water gushing. After the program, there was prasad. So I went down, and normally we would think prasad is just a little bit prasad given. But we know in ISKCON how prasad is served. There was so much in the plate, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't eat it. I didn't know what to do with it. And I was struggling. So there was one Mataji sitting next to me, one devotee. I didn't know her, and she didn't know me. But she came to me, she saw me struggling. She gently put her hand on my shoulder, and she said, you can't finish it, but we can't waste prasad. So she gave me one drone. She said, put it in this, I'll take it. I don't know what she did with it, but I felt so overwhelmingly relieved and so grateful. That was Radhika Rani Mataji, wife of His Grace Madan Mohan Prabhu. Later I met so many devotees, Vishaka Mataji, Brajeshwari Mataji, Lalita Mataji, Kishori Mataji, Tulsi Mataji, Ishwari Mataji, so many devotees. I always had a desire to have a sister. I have an illustrious brother, you just heard from him, Shidama Sakha Prabhu. But I didn't have any sisters, and Krishna fulfilled that desire. I got more sisters than I had bargained for. So many sisters. And then His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave so much mercy and so much love, guidance, compassion. His Grace Radha Krishna Prabhu and Palika Mataji, they were my second parents, spiritual parents. They fed me prasad, they gave me guidance, and they engaged me in service. As I started coming regularly, I realized that this was the culture of Shri Radha Gopinath temple. This was the mood that the leader, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, had created. The mood that he always mentions in the story of Ghanshyam Das Babaji, for those of you who have read the book Journey Home, that when any devotee comes to the temple, the thought is that I am Radha Gopinath's servant, I am Radha Gopijan Vallabh's servant, and you are his friend. So let me serve you. Let me connect you to Krishna. Let me do whatever is needed for you to engage in his service. So this is the culture in Radha Gopinath. And for me, I feel taking shelter of Radha Gopinath is to take shelter of the mood that has been created in this temple, to imbibe that mood and apply it in our own lives. And we see that many a times, at least I say for myself, that I have so many weaknesses. Sometimes I am lazy, I am complacent, I commit offenses. But Shri Radha Gopinath and this community of devotees have been so merciful that time and again they have given me an opportunity to engage in devotional service. So taking shelter would also be understanding where we came from, how we were before we became devotees or even after becoming devotees. Remembering our beginning, being humble, and then extending that same tolerance that we have received to other devotees. Being accommodating and allowing others to engage in service, allowing others to go for darshan, allowing others to climb on us and do service. When I became a devotee, before becoming a devotee, I had a really huge inferiority complex. I used to feel I really can't do anything properly, I'm no good. But when I came to Krishna consciousness, after hearing, after meeting devotees, I gradually realized that whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, everybody has an opportunity to serve. There is no dearth of services and there are no obstacles to serving if we desire to serve. So after serving in this temple, I realized that Radha Gopinath is so merciful. The devotees are so merciful that they are creating unlimited services. More and more projects are being created so that devotees can get an opportunity to serve. So we can reciprocate with Shishi Radha Gopinath and the devotees by being grateful for those services and by engaging in those services in the mode of the servant, of the servant, of the servant. Srila Prabhupada would often say that we don't need more temples. There are thousands of temples. We are creating these temples so that we can come together to hear and chant. So this is the culture of Radha Gopinath. This is the greatest opulence, according to me, of Radha Gopinath. The hearing, the katha and the chanting. Once I went to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. I was immature, I still am. And I told him, I said, Gurudev, I may make mistakes. Please chastise me when I am wrong. Give me the sauce. That time we used to use these terms. I will not bloop if you correct me. Please chastise me. So he became very grave and he said that whatever I speak when I am sitting on the Vyasasana, those are my personal instructions to all the devotees, to my disciples. If the shoe fits, wear it. So I realized that whatever we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam classes, whether it is from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj or any speaker, those are Krishna's personal instructions to all of us. And if we take them personally, if we take them sincerely and apply them in our lives, then we can get tremendous guidance and inspiration from those instructions and we can make a lot of progress in our spiritual life. At least that has been a constant source of nourishment and inspiration in my own life. Once I was attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, I was standing there because I was feeling so sleepy. I was literally doing like this to keep awake because I was very tired. And His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj called me and he asked me, how much did you sleep yesterday? And I said, I was not getting enough sleep because I used to come early to the temple and then I had some other things. So then he read out a Bhagavad Gita verse to me and told me that you must learn how to balance your life. This path is not for one who eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or sleeps too little. We don't want firecrackers. We don't want somebody who will come and then go. We want somebody who can practice and serve for the rest of their life. So please balance. And he gave me so many instructions on how to balance health with family life and services. So that is one more lesson I learned, that part of taking shelter of Radha Gopinath and the devotees is also how to balance our life so that we can serve for the rest of our life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
I think that was really a power-packed talk. So many wonderful things that came up. The relief that you felt the first days when somebody understood exactly what you were, like a little confused, and immediately came for help, that I felt was really touching. And also the concept of sister and brother. So many sisters, so many brothers, such a relief. You find the big family here. And regarding how she joined, I would like to also tell about her. She was, after her BCom, she was doing her CA internship or articleship. And then she suddenly left and she got married. So the person who was guiding, he came to find out why. And he became a devotee. She inspired him to actually. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu, he was the one, and he said, "Kyun chhod diya tumne? Aisa kya hai?" And he came to find out and he's still here doing wonderful service to Gopinath ji. So, and I like the best part was taking shelter of the mood, which is what is the essence, I would feel, of every place, that there is a particular mood, and if we can actually understand that, imbibe it, and actually appreciate, I think that would be a good. I would like to probably later go into a little more detail in understanding what exactly that mood you meant. And also I liked about the balance part, that truly if it's a long term, it's not like a rabbit. You go and then our Shamanand Prabhu calls it Diwali rocket. I said devotees shouldn't be a Diwali rocket. Just goes up, and even say, "Dekho rocket upar ja raha," and then kahan gaya rocket? Next day morning on somebody's terrace, you find a burnt out stick. ये कभी rocket हुआ करता था. We don't want that. He said we shouldn't be a shooting star, we should be the pole star. Not only fixed, but also a source of inspiration, guidance for others. Thank you, Mataji. And now we go to Vraj Sundari Mataji to share her thoughts on what does she mean by taking shelter and what's her suggestion.
My first introduction to Radha Gopinath, the first shelter that I received was through his holy names. Through their holy names, my brother introduced me to Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he was the only devotee I knew that time. So that was the only shelter as a devotee, and in their holy names. And after my 12th standard board exams, he invited me, saying that there is a grand college festival that is happening in JJ, and you just come over. And there was a great struggle in the house, and I just fought with my mother and I said, no, I have to go. Bombay College Festival, I want to see what it is. And he actually tricked me. It was not a college festival, it was Centennial Rath Yatra.
By the way, her brother is Yugavatar Prabhu, the telephone operator. He worked extra time also.
And he got me for Rath Yatra, and before leaving, I was staying in the boys' hostel hiding. He kept me in his room. And before leaving, he put tilak for me with his thumb like this, and some funny tilak. And when I came, the first devotee I met was Her Grace Sita Mataji. And the way she welcomed me, she's like, oh, you are coming for the first time? Doesn't look like that, Look like you are devotee since your birth. And that really made me feel so good. I felt I'm really into it. Maybe from my past birth, I'm carrying this. And since then, actually, devotees have been shelter on different levels. I can say the immense wisdom and guidance that is available through the seniors, God brothers and God sisters, the shelter that I see in them, also the shelter in my friends, their love, their care, the friends whom I can count on any time and any situation in life. And as the spiritual principle goes, in sharing we receive. The love that I have received, the care that I have received from my seniors, from my friends, and whatever little, if I'm trying to share with those who are coming to temple now, later, I feel I'm more connected to the Lord and His devotees in sharing their love. One more thing, as Mataji said, is the Harinam and Harikatha, which is the highlight of our temple, which provides so much shelter. Initially, when we did not have a child, at least Prabhuji was in office, but I would rush to temple whenever possible. I have dragged him so many times for bhajan sandhyas, like Saturday would be the only day, but then so much of shelter we would find when all the devotees would sit here like this in half circle in front of Gopinath and just praying. That Harinam gave so much shelter, and the lectures. We are trying, thanks to His Grace Vaishnav Seva Prabhu, daily we are listening to Bhagavatam classes, no matter whoever is the speaker, but we get to hear what we need to hear, and we get that shelter. Means so many times, we don't even sometimes, we keep guessing who is speaking, but ultimately we just come to the Ganadha, no, the class was so nice, and this point was so nice, and this provided so much of shelter. So this Harikatha and Harikirtan and the association of devotees is what gives me the shelter, and I hope if everybody can take advantage of this wisdom that is available in our temple to so immensely, then that's the perfection, I feel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Two things I was realizing, quite a few of them are, if you notice, they are telling that the first interaction with devotees left such a deep impression. I was thinking how responsible we are, or we should be, in terms of dealing with the newcomers. Because they will carry that impression for life. You can make it or break it. Such an important thing. No wonder His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj has kept certain guest reception people. And the person who is in charge here has such soft, loving voice. Krishna. Our Sankirtan Prabhu. His smile is enough. Sometimes you can't hear what he's telling. Most of the time. Especially if the kirtan is going on. But he smiles and he says, you can understand what he's saying. Don't worry. And the laddu that comes. So the first interaction, actually His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj once expressed. He said, every person that walks inside is a guest of Gopinath and Prabhupada. Try to understand. A lost soul is walking into this place. And it is your responsibility to give such an impression that a person continues. So that was a good thing. And the second thing I really liked is, I've heard many devotees saying, irrespective of who gives the class, when you sit, nevertheless, invariably, some statement, if you're really needing some guidance, it's amazing. It's the Bhagavatam, or whatever it is, it's Krishna's magic. Just what you need to hear comes anyway. Provided you have the hunger and the thirst to receive it, you can actually see that. That's a good point. And sure enough, desire tree is a shelter, as so beautiful. I was in tears actually, I couldn't control my tears. Gopal Leela Prabhu. Suddenly I'm laughing and all of a sudden like a bomb. You know, we take things for granted, but what a amazing experience. I realized this when I went away for 1 month, to Moscow and all these places, and as soon as I came back, even though when we are here, the wrong corner get rubbed, but then when you are away, whatever it is, it's worth it. I just want that. We sometimes realize it. Sometimes Krishna pulls us away just to make us realize. So, thank you so much, Mataji, for bringing up so many thoughts. These 2 points really stuck to me. Yes, Prahlad Priya Prabhu. Incidentally, both of them are from Pune. They met at the same time. They got initiated simultaneously. And they married together. Obviously. 95, 98 and 99 in series. Correct me if I'm wrong. Too many things common between them.
Most of the points are already covered. Prabhuji, Mataji spoke so well. There is nothing more to add. But I will add a bhavanik perspective about taking shelter. Now, I don't, because the second question was that how you want the congregation to take shelter also. I don't feel necessarily congregation should take this step, but this has worked with me. So, one aspect which I found of taking shelter of Radha Gopinath ji, literally, this actually helped me, is to come here on Brahmostav and cry in the Gopinath bhajan, looking at Gopinath. It actually worked for me. So what happened is, I just share this small incident. So in year 2012, I lost my job, and then because you have to take up something, so I had to take up a job in Pune. So what happened is, I would stay here for 2 days over a weekend, and then for 4 days I would be in Pune, working there. This started affecting the consciousness of my daughter a lot, to an extent that we started receiving letters from the school that, are you not getting along well, husband, wife at home, because your daughter is showing symptoms of something is wrong in the house. And that's the time I actually realized that no, I have to come back. But then I was consulting with astrologers, and I think at least 3 or 4 astrologers, they told me that no, you cannot, there is no way that you can come back to Bombay, because it's written in your patrika that you have to be away from the place of your birth. I am born in Bombay. So, and incidentally, somewhere close by, my mother was brought up in this place called Kumbharwada, Gully number 3, near Goldeol. And I'm probably born somewhere there. So, Gopinath is very close to the place of my birth. And the Patrika clearly said that no, you have to be away from the place of your birth. There's no way that you can come back. And that situation was so desperate, because I was thinking that no, how is it? Because it's, and I was requesting them, you come to Pune. They were saying, no, we don't, we want to be here with Gopinath. So then what to do? I literally, and I remember I came for this 2012 Brahmostav ceremony here. And Rup Raghunath Prabhu was there. And he made this statement. He said, Gopinath is a Jagrut Daivat. He said, if you pray to Gopinath, he's a Jagrut Daivat. He said, things will work. And then I was sitting here in the Gaur Nitai hall, and the Gopinath bhajan started. I literally cried. So Gopinath, I have to come back. And so this combination of how devotees, taking shelter of devotees, and how these things work out. Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu somehow landed in office of one devotee, and they were talking, and he remembered me all of a sudden. I don't know why. And he told that person that, you know, is there something going on in this company, because Prahlad Priya works on this technology, and that devotee, Varjendra Kishore Prabhu, he said, yeah, we were looking for the exact same role in the office. And then the person called me for interview, and the person who called me for interview did not know anything about this technology. So he asked me general questions, and he directly gave me the job. He just took me in. And I was completely shocked. So here 3 astrologers are saying that you cannot come back to Bombay, but if Gopinath wants, you know, you can come back. And now I was under this thought that this is actually Gopinath's mercy. So what I was doing is that somehow I would make an effort to come on Friday mornings for DT worship, because that service I wanted to maintain. And as soon as I came back to Bombay, so my first job, I was about to go, and I come to temple. So you know this, every 3 months our DT worship changes. So as soon as I came that day to temple, and the day dressing was changing, and I straight away got Gopinath dressing for first time in my life. Yeah. I never did that ever in my life before that. So Gopinath is saying that, you know, I am getting you here. So this was the bhavanik part of taking shelter of Gopinath. But then I hope and pray that you are not taken to that stretch, that you have to take shelter of Gopinath always in a bhavanik way. But there are so many incidents like this I can remember, and you can see that there have been wonderful reciprocations from the deities and from the devotees. Mulila Prabhu was giving this example of devotees taking personal care. I remember my first, so there are certain things which happened to me, and I have been longing for those things to happen, but they happened to me after I came to Gopinathji. So for example, in my college, I would always go for this, you know, singing competition, where you get to stand and you get to sing. And you know, I always appeared for this test, and I always failed in that. For all 3 years during my diploma college, degree college, I never got a chance to sing in front of people like that. Never. And I remember it was one of my birthdays. I had stayed in Radha Gopinath temple, and I got up in the morning for Mangalarti. I came here. That time we had the facility, we could stay. And a person just comes to me and gives kartal in my hand. He says, Prabhu, please sing Narsingh Aarti. And it was very emotional for me. I was thinking that nobody in the world wants to hear from me, but this Gopinath, he wants to hear from me what I'm singing. It was like, so there's a reciprocation which was very strong. And this incident which Rasundari was narrating that she would drag me for attending the Saturday programs and I would be extremely tired. And one particular this I remember that I was so tired and I was thinking that no, I have to take rest. The whole week has been extremely busy. And she was just pulling me, no, you have to come, you have to come, you have to come. I said, what is there? What am I going to get? I'm so tired. And she just pulled me. That day happened to be the Nauka Vihar festival in Banganga. And I just entered that Banganga and two devotees came to me and they said, Prabhuji, there is this video shooting, TV shooting going on. Would you like to speak? And I was completely shocked. So you would me to speak on TV? And he said, you remember that, the Banganga story?
That was the best performance. So sweet. I thought you should be a, like regular performer.
So that, I was just not going to come there. And here I just come and, it was like Gopi Janamalla pulling me with my ear and telling me, look, sit here, this is what I want you to do. And I don't know if anybody ever saw that program on TV. My maternal uncle, who stays close by here in Kumbharwada, he saw it. And he was like, hey, Pramatesh, are you there? Like, how he just called everyone, he called all his relatives, he called everybody. He said, look who is there on the television. He said, I am coming. And he was never a favorable person actually towards ISKCON. But when he saw me on the TV and he saw because of ISKCON I am on TV, he was very impressed with that.
Please take note. Some Bollywood enterers, take note.
So there were such personal reciprocations and they have gone really deep in terms of taking shelter. And one time I remember I came to temple in the night and this one thing which I always observed, that whoever has been hungry in Radha Gopinath, nobody was hungry. You get something to eat always. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how many of you have got this experience. But you always get to eat something in Gopinath. Somehow, I don't know how it works. Gopinathji takes care of that. So one day I came in the night and I was staying back in the temple.
I'll stay with you wherever you are. When I don't get prasad.
And then there was absolutely nothing. Prasadam was over. So Prabhuji said, there is something there. So please. So he showed me the plate. And that it was a plate full covered with a white liquid. And I was thinking, my God, this the typical Varai ka khichdi, this white thing, I can't take it. So it was a Ekadasi. The full plate was full with white liquid. And this Varai khichdi, I said, yeah, it's there, Gopinathji has provided, but I don't know if I'm going to eat it. And it was pretty dark. So I took the plate and I started drinking, and it was whole Shrikhand actually. That whole, I still to this remember that Shrikhand, the entire plate. I got such a nice sleep that day. It was this entire plate of Shrikhand. So the small things, they have been small reciprocations, but I took shelter of them and it really helped. Then what I realized slowly as the days passed, that everyone who comes to Radha Gopinath temple, they should get that connection with Gopinathji. So somehow or the other, the devotees need to facilitate that yes, Gopinath loves you and this is how Gopinath is giving you. And I think that's how we should slowly work towards, becoming an instrument in passing that mercy from Gopinath to his devotees. So that is my small definition of taking shelter.
Thank you, Prabhu. So my dear friends, it pays to cry in front of Gopinath. It pays. ऐसा समझ के रोना मत. I read one time, I asked for something, but I got this. I asked for something, but I got this. I asked for something, but I got this. I asked for strength and I got troubled people. I wanted, to become strong and I got all miserable people to come to me. And finally that prayer says, I never got what I wanted, but you gave me what I needed. You don't know. Sometimes a child is crying. It doesn't know what exactly is a need. A young child doesn't understand. Mother can easily understand. Later it understands, this is what I need. We are like kids. at least there is a right place to cry. That's good. We cry in front of Gopinath. Surely he hears. Pratimana hi sakshat tumi Brajendra Nandan. It's not a piece of stone. It's actually when the devotees of the Lord invoke, actually the Lord manifests. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing the stories of how crying helps. It's hope for us. Braj Vihari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I just want to remind you, it's not Bhagavatam class, it is.
Thank you, thank you.
I stay next to his room, so I can
Yeah.
afford to joke.
Good, you reminded me. I also kept my stopwatch right in front of
Hey, no, speak no. I'll sacrifice my time for you, don't worry.
No, I'm just joking. Thank you, Prabhu, for such a lively session. So much to learn. You said two things: what shelter means to me as a person, and what I would like to request the congregation also. So I have kind of mixed both the questions. So for me, shelter would mean, I think already devotees said, so I'm just repeating, being grateful and thankful. That is the first and most important thing. I remember a few years back, Maharaj was giving, we were just kind of small celebration of Maharaj's birthday at Srinathji Prabhu's terrace. So Maharaj was speaking in the end and he was appreciating all the devotees. He was saying, oh, this Prabhuji was helping in college preaching, all events of 1988, 89. And he was remembering with fine precision, like, their legal names, which college, which hostel somebody was staying, which Mataji would cook idlis for him and get, and things like that, minor details. So it was an amazing, we were kind of joking, it's Mahaprakash Leela going on. He's appreciating everyone. And then next day, Gaur Gopal Prabhu said, we'll ask Maharaj how he remembers all this. So he asked, I was with Gaur Gopal Prabhu. He said, Maharaj, you remember all these fine details of so many devotees of the past, what they did. So Maharaj said, and in a very nonchalant way he said, very casually, he said, if I don't remember with gratitude what all these devotees have done for our community, then my life is condemned. And he said it in such a matter-of-fact way that one sentence was so striking. So that gratitude is internalized by Maharaj. So I think shelter means being thankful. Because gratitude is not some vague principle. Gratitude is a principle that can be practiced also. In the sense, it's a practice. Gratitude is a practice. Once in a Prerna lecture, Maharaj was giving class, one man got up. And he was some very big famous health freak or somebody. He said, Swamiji, I want to ask all the young youth here, what is the greatest sin in the world? So people were saying different things. And then he said, the greatest sin is to ignore your health. Your health should be top class. And he gave a short 5-10 minute class on health. And then after he spoke, then Maharaj said, thank you. In my humble opinion, the greatest sin is to be ungrateful. And it was such a deep statement. So I guess, as Radharani Mataji said, we need to remember our past and be grateful, because we forget sometimes. Actually, after some years, we forget the past. We forget what we went through. Like, outside, if it is 45 degrees Celsius, extremely hot, heat, garmi, relief chahiye, and we come to the hall where there is AC. After first 5 minutes of that AC refreshing us, after that we forget the convenience of the AC, and we also forget the heat that we faced outside. And then here inside the room we have some issues with people after some time, and then we feel heat here. And then we feel maybe the heat outside, maybe our life is better outside. We forget that bahar bahut zyada garmi hai. So I think it's not worth it like that. So that is one thing, gratitude is one. Second is I feel as we grow as a community, we need to be more authentic, more genuine, more congruent inside, outside. Because when I came here, from first day, I have seen genuine people here. Extremely, I'm so fascinated till today. They're so inside, outside, same, It pleases me so much. Like, recently I was talking to my college friends. They were shocked when I told them one sentence. One fellow's lower jaw dropped when I told him that 18 years I'm staying in this place and not a single time I've seen an incident of politics or violence or abuse. He just couldn't believe it. It's a fact. And as we get older, we need to also give space to others to express themselves. Sometimes we say no conflicts, an artificial bonhomie, jai. No, we need to give that space because no conflicts also is a sign of a dysfunctional relationship. Basically, hey, thoda differences rahega. But in a mature way, we can facilitate that. So that authenticity is one. Because, one Grihastha was telling me his 4-year-old son was roaming, he just ran without clothes. So both the parents said, shame, shame, shame. And immediately this boy said, what shame? I'm your son, no? So why I should be shameful in front of you? So he was stunned and he shared, he said, Prabhuji, I realized that when I come in front of Gopinath, quote and unquote, I need to be internally naked. I have to expose myself. I have to be authentic. I can't be artificial. I can't put up many masks. Actually, if I have 2 masks, one when I'm alone and one when with people, then eventually I'll be so frustrated and bewildered. Whoa, who am I? So I guess that is second. And the last is, one is authenticity, one is gratitude. And I also feel, as all of them said, process. Shelter is process of hearing, chanting, associating with devotees. This is it. Shravanam, Kirtanam. The 25th anniversary, this is the last thing I'll say. Silver Jubilee, celebrations of Radha Gopinath Brahmostav. Maharaj was giving class here. And everybody was like, 25th anniversary. And Anandandaman Prabhu, he has a knack of asking, a question which we may not want to ask. And Maharaj, you are now there, so we are having all this hearing, chanting, but you will not always be there. And you are now spending time preaching in West also. So how can we get shelter of Gopinath when you are not there? And Maharaj just a few seconds of pause and then he said, Mat chitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantas chamam nityam tushyanti charamant. He quoted this verse from the Gita which says, my devotees come together, they hear and chant. So then Maharaj spoke on this. This is a simple principle, simple process, hearing and chanting in the association of devotees. So these were the 3 things I had to share. Process, hearing, chanting, and being more genuine, more authentic. When we come in front of Gopinath, then we can feel shelter. And third is being grateful for whatever we have been given, because we tend to forget after some time, because we have differences of opinion. So I think we can feel shelter. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada told Dhananjay Prabhu, he went to give a program on the television, and suddenly the TV interviewer, he told him, speak in 2 minutes whatever you want. And that fellow completely confused because he had gone with half an hour presentation. And that time Prabhupada said, you should be able to tell your whole philosophy for the rest of your life if you want, something to that, I'm just paraphrasing, or in 1 sentence if necessary, 2 minutes. So very concisely you have summarized, and I really like that one point of, going in front of the Lord, bare, laying bare yourself. This is what I am, This is a friend who will not speak to anyone else. This is a friend who will not let go. So yes, what's wrong? It's such a wonderful friend. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing this point and about what is in, what is out. It's also such a relief when you meet people who are what they are and they present it as it is. Maybe it may not be exactly the way you want, but just getting to know people the way they are. That's what spiritual world is all about. Here it's all about a facade in this material world. Everyone wants, because of the ego, to present something what they are not. And therefore hypocrisy and diplomacy comes. To the extent we are what we are, to that extent we can experience that reciprocation. Thank you so much. Since we have a very short time left, I have one question I would like to ask all of you, which is the burning issue that I keep hearing everywhere. Because we talk about very close association with Radha Gopinath, and many of you express that. Services to Radha Gopinath is also one shelter. And also, I heard about association with Maharaj and connection to Radha Gopinath ji in some way. With the current situation, things are not the same. We are expanding. people are not able to physically come many times to this place and have darshan every week. Many times even that's not possible because of the age, because of the distance, because of sheer, I don't want to use the word, but so much of lack of space here could be one of the reasons they are not. What is hope for them to take that shelter? Feel that same gratitude, feel that thing. What would be your suggestion with the increasing age, distance, number, etc.? How could we still maintain that element of shelter, the same that the earlier people received? How could we do that? You may like to just few sentences you would like to share. Anyone, you can just go. I don't want to go in turn. Anyone would like to speak. Mic is available with everyone, so pick it up and talk.
Yeah, those of us who have received it, if we share it in the same way with others, then they will also get the benefit of the same experience, even though they may have not got it maybe directly from the temple, from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, or directly in the temple. But if that same mood, if we practice in our lives and we give that same love, affection, the same opportunities for service and that same understanding to other devotees, then they can benefit. Even if they are not able to directly benefit, but indirectly at least they will feel. And I feel that when you receive...
Can I just... because sometimes I got the other result. When I try to share my association with Maharaj, how he, interacted with me, or my services directly, very intimate service within the temple, sometimes I feel, others start feeling, we missed it, we are so unfortunate. So I sometimes wonder, should I share it at all?
I'm not talking about sharing our experiences. I'm talking about sharing what we experienced. What we experienced, we can give the same experience to others. Because like today, I did not share any of the personal experiences with Maharaj, because that everybody may not get. But I remember once Gaur Govind Prabhu was telling Murlidhar Prabhu that when I was Maharaj's servant, what I gained most was when he was sitting on the Vyasasana. Because what I heard from him when he was sitting on the Vyasasana really benefited me, rather than just being with him personally. And I think Radhanath Swami Maharaj has also mentioned, and so many sannyasis have mentioned, that everybody may not get that personal association. I would just like to mention one point from Ramanujacharya's stories, that there was one devotee who would sing for Sri Ranganath Dev, and Ranganath Dev would dance, the Utsav Murti. So when he spoke to Ranganath Dev and asked him, when am I coming back to Godhead? He said, you will take many lifetimes. He said, why? I sing for you, you dance. He said, fitam fit. I sing, you dance. That doesn't mean you will go back to Godhead. Your going back to Godhead depends on how you surrender to the instructions of the spiritual master. So just because we have laughed or spiritual master has encouraged us or spoken to us, that doesn't mean we will make progress. If we understand the instructions carefully and make a sincere effort to surrender to those instructions, the lessons which we are hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can really be happy and make progress. So if we practice this in our own life and impart this understanding to others, I think they will derive strength. And also what we have received in terms of love, affection, understanding, cooperation, encouragement, services, then when we give that to others, I think they will benefit. That was what I meant to say.
That's a good one. Thank you so much. And I like that point, that merely that you have got association doesn't mean you are advanced. Prabhupada said, the mosquito is sitting around me, giving me trouble. Intimate association. Sucking my blood, he said, the mosquito. So yeah, that's a very interesting point. Anyone would like to share? Yes, Prabhu. There's a question for you also, Prabhuji. You told about taking shelter in services, but there are limited services and unlimited devotees.
Lots of services are there.
Anyone wants service, you can contact Murlidhar Prabhu.
I just remember one thing which is really gone deep into my heart and which I heard from Govind Prabhu. Like 25 years back, the congregation was very small. We had intimate association, whatever, whoever were there. And, everyone would know everyone. Each one would know each and everyone. Somebody new comes, everyone knows that somebody has come. But now like so many are there, we don't know who is come, how many years he's been there in the moment, nothing. But I heard one thing now which really is still comforting me. He said that working with Maharaj and working for Maharaj. He said, working with Maharaj, how many people can work with Maharaj? He may have certain projects. Somebody who is very close or closely connected to the project will be working with Maharaj. That means you can count on your fingers. But working for Maharaj or working for the person, each and every one of us have an opportunity to work. Each and every one. When I asked this question to some of the devotees, he said, how many of you can work for Maharaj? Everyone raised their hand. How many of you are working with Maharaj? Nobody raised. When he said, how many of you are working for Maharaj or working for his project? For him means everyone raised hand. That means each one of us can find some services which can be connected directly or indirectly to the project. So as you said that it's not that you don't have services, there are unlimited services. What services you would like to do, where you can fit in, you just find for yourself and you just get connected to that project. Projects are unlimited, services are unlimited. I disagree with you that there are no limited services.
Bhurijan Prabhu told me, by the way, Bhurijan Prabhu told us when he met, he said Prabhupada met him, he was in Hong Kong or somewhere, and he met him and he said, I want the whole universe to become Krishna conscious. And the point that he was making us was, how much service is there? Is in this planet everyone has become Krishna conscious, pure devotee? If not, there is tremendous service. Till everyone becomes a pure devotee here, there is still service. So point was, there is no dearth of service. You should know how to serve, what to do. Yep.
Just to conclude, like earlier the yatra, the number of devotees were very less. And somebody mentioned to Maharaj, one of his servants, he said, Maharaj, now there are so many people, very difficult. Yatras, too many. Maharaj said, don't think like this. He says, think that, now so many devotees are there, there's so much opportunity for service, for Vaishnavas. So you think like this, when you think like this, then you'll be very happy. Earlier the mood was enjoyment, now the mood is service.
By the way, we're going to have a presentation, video presentation on this very theme, the yatras of Radha Gopinath. Generally we have, different themes, festivals, like that. This time it is going to be. I would like to just round up with just one question. All of you can answer and then we will conclude. Taking shelter means Krishna is going to reciprocate. When we take shelter, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyam. If you can answer in one statement. Devotees ask this question. How am I to know? How can I get to know if Krishna is pleased with me or not? My surrendering process, is it actually bona fide? Is it reciprocating? Is Krishna pleased? How do I know? I'm doing something and I think I'm blissful. I can be blissful in Maya also. How do I know that I'm taking shelter and Krishna is pleased by that? So you can just say this with one sentence. I want everyone to say that before we conclude.
So Krishna's mercy always comes through his devotees. This is my personal experience. And see, ultimately, even if you read scriptures, it is so wonderfully mentioned that the spiritual master is the external manifestation of the Paramatma in the heart. So when your sadhana is very nice and you have that connection, it's a matter of time that it will be revealed through either a devotee or mostly through a devotee, that yes, I am accepting your service, and this is how it should be. It always comes. This is my personal experience.
So you get an indication from a devotee somewhere.
And it will happen. If you are sincere, the indication will come. In fact, if you are sincere, that you will be able to take that indication whenever it comes. It may keep on coming many times, but it requires some level of...
That radar should be active to catch it.
You will not... I'll tell you one small incident. We were actually on a Govardhan Parikrama, and one of the devotee who was with us, he suddenly disappeared. And we didn't know where he has gone. And he again joined back in 5 minutes. And okay, everything normal. We continued. I said, Prabhuji, किधर गए थे आप? बोला वो उधर कोने में एक beggar था. He was very hungry. So I just went to give him a roti. I said, how did you come to know that there was a beggar? I don't know. So just felt like I have to go there. So I mean, you may even see a beggar, but you may not want to go and help him because that connection is not there. But when the connection is there, you immediately understand, oh, this is what the person needs. I have to go and help him.
Yeah, thank you. Keep your antennas on.
You told this wonderful example, Vajwari Prabhu, the other day, that the devotee who was standing in front of Gopinath ji was really struggling. And you just came and you pressed his arms and you said that, Prabhu, very nice seva that you are doing. And that devotee was in his tears. Somehow, Paramatma in his heart guided him exactly to do and talk to that devotee and exactly what happened. So it's there, means it's a myth to consider I am alone. It doesn't exist. Nobody is alone in this world. Nobody. It's not possible.
Jai, very reassuring. Thank you. Full conviction.
Paramatma is always there. You have to have that. You have to have that frequency.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Anyone else would like to add one concluding remark from each one of you?
This is my personal experience that Krishna gives us so many opportunities to serve, and every time, at least I feel like this, that I get an opportunity to render any service, direct, indirect, I feel that Krishna has not given up on me. He still considers me, even though I feel I am not qualified, but still he thinks that there is something that I can do. So there is still some hope, because still we are serving Vaishnavas. There is some hope for us. In our personal endeavor, we may be failing, but once Maharaj mentioned to a devotee, he said, please give me your blessings. He said, Maharaj said, continue serving, the blessings will come automatically. So I think that is our hope. When we serve, then we can know Krishna has still kept his mercy on us.
Narada Muni was continuously serving in his previous life the Bhaktivedantas. And by that he got the mercy. Not just remnants, but Bhurijan Prabhu explained, by serving there is an opportunity. But if you are continuously serving, mercy will hit you straight away. Thank you so much, Mataji. 3 are remaining. A concluding remark from all before
Actually, once myself and Prabhuji were speaking with Radhana Swami Maharaj, and wherein he told us that Krishna's reciprocation, you get to know when you have good relationships with devotees. You have satisfactory relationship with devotees. He said, if your sadhana is good, Krishna will reciprocate. And he gave us example. He said, see, Prahlad Maharaj was taking shelter, and that in reciprocation, his bond with Narad Muni was very strong, and definitely not with Hiranyakashipu. He said, so don't judge how your material life is, but if your spiritual life is getting stronger and satisfactory, that is the reciprocation of Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Braj Vihari Prabhu and Muralidhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I can, you are asking how can I know if I am taking properly shelter, and how can I know that
Krishna is pleased.
Krishna is pleased. So many times I used to think, if devotees are pleased, Krishna is pleased. If devotees are pleased, I am taking shelter. But I've also faced challenges in relationship with devotees, because sometimes with the best intentions I see the devotee is not pleased. So then, if I have struggled with it. But now, I don't know what will happen next year, but right now, I know that Krishna is pleased. If, I like to practice the process. Like if I like to hear about Krishna, if I like to come for the Bhagavatam class, if I like to chant, if I like to serve devotees, if I'm enthusiastic in the process that Krishna has given, that means, and if I'm happy doing it, that means I'm blessed actually. That means I feel like that. So I want to please devotees, but honestly, it's not so easy. In the sense, it's a challenge. Living in a community, so many devotees, everybody has their own needs, and so it's stressful. But when I get excited to hear, like recently I was reading Krishna book, one chapter. I'll just end with this. Kamsa, Krishna entering Mathura, and I was just falling asleep while reading and was struggling. But I was excited, and I was eager to get some time later in the day to read. So I felt I'm blessed, because at least right now I want to read this. Imagine if I feel a burden hai, nahi sunna hai, nahi chanting karna hai, so that will be like I'm not having shelter. So I think that's what I
Thank you so much. I think this is a very, very important point, because materially it says you can't please all the people all the time. And it happens. And sometimes large number of people may not be pleased for some reasons. But in the process, like the previous discussion panel was there, and they said, it's not what you feel like, it's what you have to do. The process is perfect. Imperfection is in our understanding probably. If the process is still tastier, ruchi, then you should know. Then Krishna is pleased. Therefore there is reciprocation in terms of giving taste. We will conclude with Muralidhar Prabhu's statement, whatever statement Prabhuji gives.
I see that with all my inabilities and all my deficiencies in performing the process of Krishna consciousness, I feel that if I sincerely and honestly try to follow the instructions of my spiritual master, then I know that Krishna is pleased. I sincerely, I may have so many defects in my heart. With all my defects, if I try to honestly, sincerely try to follow the instructions of my spiritual master, that's what I would feel that's pleased. Because at the same, another thing, I always, when I am faced with a situation, I always say how Radhanath Swami Maharaj would react in this situation. Try to understand through the experiences, through experience of other devotees, and then I say, okay, then how do I behave in this situation? So this is what would be my meditation whenever I would deal with situations.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I'm sure many of your questions about how to take shelter and is Krishna pleased, and with the number of increasing of services, with devotees and issues like that, is this process still working? How do I go about that? I hope some of it has been answered. That is the purpose of this discussion. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please be seated. Just Muralidhar Prabhu, please be seated. 1 minute.
Yeah, all of you, Braj Bihari Prabhu also, please. Sincere thanks to Radha Gopinath Prabhu for moderating this panel discussion, and thank you very much for all the panels. We'd like to really give them a very loud round of applause and loud Haribols. Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Thank you very much. So, the Bhaktivedanta Vidyapith, which is being run in the Govardhan Eco Village, is well known for their publications of books. Last year, during the 50th anniversary of ISKCON, they came up with the Bhagavad Subodhini, which is a very systematic study guide for Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 1 to Canto 6. And then they also came up with this beautiful book called the Bhagavad Ratnamala, which is a pocket-sized book of verses, hand-picked verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And they also came up with the book called Chaitanya Ratnamala, which is verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, pocket-sized book again. And now they just have come up with this new publication, which is called Chaitanya Subodhini, which is a study guide of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And today we would, on the auspicious day of Shri Radha Gopinath's Brahmostav appearance day, we would like to request Shri Radha Gopinath Prabhu and all the panelists to kindly release this book, Chaitanya Subodhini. It is a book on the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, study guide for the Adi Leela. And the books will be available in the Matchless Gift Shop from today onwards, also on tulsibooks.com. I'd like to request Radha Gopinath Prabhu and all the other panelists to kindly release Shri Chaitanya Subodhini.
Yes, if everyone is ready, then I'll give the sign. 1, 2, and 3.
Haribo!